The crystalline spires of the Shadowblade Guild headquarters pierced the violet sky of Nexus Prime, their obsidian surfaces reflecting the light of 3 moons. Inside the highest tower, Guildmaster Riven Thax stood motionless, his silver eyes fixed on the holographic display before him. "You want us to do what?" he asked, his voice carrying the weight of 20,000 successful contracts. The Zenithan diplomat before him, Ambassador Vix, shifted uncomfortably. Her iridescent scales flickered with anxiety as she repeated the Empire's request. "The contract is simple, Guildmaster. Strategic elimination of Earth's key leadership structure. The Empire will pay 50 billion credits, 10 times your standard rate." Riven's metallic fingers traced the edge of the contract crystal. In his 300 years leading the guild, he had never seen such an astronomical sum offered. The Shadowblade Guild was legendary across 17 galaxies for never refusing a contract, never failing a mission. Until today. "Assemble the Shadow Council," he commanded. Within moments, the chamber filled with holographic projections of the guild's 12 master assassins, each one a legend in their own right. As the contract details appeared before them, an unusual tension filled the room. Master Kvath, a voidwalker known for phasing through quantum barriers, spoke first. "I've studied their security systems. Primitive by our standards, but..." He paused, searching for words. "They're unpredictable." "Elaborate," Riven commanded. The display shifted to surveillance footage from Earth. It showed humans in various situations, a mother lifting a crashed vehicle to save her child, a wounded soldier carrying a comrade through a battlefield, survivors enduring conditions that should have been fatal. Master Zena, a neural specialist, interfaced with the data stream. Their bodies possess a fascinating override system. Under sufficient stress, they can temporarily ignore physical limitations, pain, even fatal injuries. They call it adrenaline, we call it evolutionary insanity. Ambassador Vix scoffed. "They're barely space-capable." "Surely." "Show her the entertainment files," Riven interrupted. The chamber filled with images of human military training, extreme sports, combat simulations. Humans jumping from orbital platforms, fighting in sub-zero conditions, surviving in environments that would kill most species. "These are their games," Riven explained. "Their recreational activities. What they do for fun." He turned to face the ambassador directly. "Do you understand? They train to kill as a hobby. Their children play war games. Their athletes push beyond normal biological limits for sport." Master Lyra, the guild's top infiltration specialist, spoke up. "I spent a cycle studying their history. They've been preparing for alien contact for centuries, through their literature, their movies, their games. Every human child grows up knowing exactly what to do if aliens attack. It's embedded in their culture." Ambassador Vix's scales had lost their luster. "The Empire will not be pleased with a rejection." "The Empire should be grateful," Riven countered. "We're not refusing out of fear. We're refusing out of professional respect." He paused, letting his next words carry their full weight. "The last species that tried to assassinate human leaders. They don't exist anymore. Humans don't just retaliate, they systematically dismantle any threat to their survival." The contract crystal darkened as Riven officially registered the guild's first-ever rejection. "Tell your Empire this, Ambassador, leave Earth alone. Because if you don't, you'll learn firsthand why even the galaxy's deadliest assassins know better than to target them." As the ambassador hurried away, Riven turned to his assembled masters. "Double the observation posts around Earth. Something tells me the Empire won't heed our warning." He gazed out at the 3 moons of Nexus Prime, their light casting long shadows across the tower. "And when they make that mistake, we'll have front-row seats to witness why humans are the only species in the galaxy that turn survival into an art form." The Shadow Council nodded in agreement, their holograms fading one by one until Riven stood alone in the chamber. On his display, Earth continued its slow rotation, a deceptively peaceful blue marble harboring the galaxy's most formidable species, one that had mastered the art of survival long before it reached for the stars. The Zenithan Empire's Central Intelligence Hub hummed with activity as Director Naira Vess reviewed the latest surveillance data from Earth. Her phosphorescent markings pulsed with increasing concern as she studied the holographic displays surrounding her command station. "Play the footage from Observation Post 7, she ordered. The air before her shimmered as it projected scenes from a human military training facility. "Fascinating," muttered lead analyst Jax Coriai, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "They're using live ammunition in their training exercises. Not simulations, actual projectile weapons." Naira leaned forward, her silver-streaked tentacles curling thoughtfully. "And this is standard procedure?" "Affirmative," Jax confirmed, pulling up additional data streams. "But that's not what truly concerns me. Watch this." The display shifted to footage of civilian activities. A group of humans was climbing an ice-covered mountain without protective gear. Another showed them diving into ocean depths that would crush most species. A third displayed humans participating in something called ultramarathon across a scorching desert. "Their recreational activities are more demanding than our military training," Naira observed, her markings flickering with unease. The door to the hub slid open as Supreme Commander Zarx entered, his cybernetic eye scanning the room. "Tell me you have good news, Director Vess." Naira straightened, her tentacles contracting. "Commander, I strongly recommend we reconsider our expansion plans regarding Earth. The Shadowblade Guild's warning appears well-founded." "Explain," Zarx demanded, his metallic parts gleaming under the hub's ambient light. Jax brought up a new series of displays. "Humans possess several unique characteristics that make them exceptionally dangerous. First, their endurance. They evolved as persistence hunters, capable of pursuing prey until it collapses from exhaustion. They can maintain physical activity longer than any species we've encountered." "That's hardly a military advantage," Zarx scoffed. "With respect, Commander," Naira interjected, "it's their adaptability that truly sets them apart." She gestured to another display. "Humans can survive in environments ranging from -50 to +50 degrees Celsius. They can heal from injuries that would be fatal to most species. Their bodies actually grow stronger when damaged." The display showed humans recovering from severe injuries, their bodies rebuilding themselves, often stronger than before. Footage of human warfare throughout their history played alongside it, demonstrating their rapidly evolving tactical capabilities. "Most concerning," Jax continued, "is their psychological resilience. When faced with overwhelming odds, most species surrender. Humans. They become more dangerous." Commander Zarx's organic eye narrowed. "Surely you're exaggerating." "Permission to show restricted footage, sir," Naira requested. At Zarx's nod, she activated a secure channel. "This is from our failed infiltration attempt last cycle." The footage showed a small human settlement dealing with a natural disaster. As flood waters rose, instead of evacuating, the humans formed chains, risking their lives to save strangers. They worked without rest, using primitive technology and sheer determination to protect their community. "Now watch what happened when our cloaked probe was detected," Naira continued. The footage showed the humans quickly organizing, using basic tools and improvised weapons to track and disable technology far more advanced than their own. Their movements were coordinated, efficient, and utterly fearless. They disabled a Class 7 stealth system with projectile weapons and something called duct tape, Jax reported, his voice carrying a note of disbelief. Then they began reverse engineering it. Within hours, they had developed countermeasures against our technology. Commander Zarx's cybernetic eye whirred as it processed the information. "How did they even detect the probe?" "A child noticed birds avoiding a particular area of sky," Naira explained. "They investigated based on that observation alone. Their pattern recognition abilities are extraordinary. She brought up one final display, showing human entertainment media, their movies, books, and games about alien contact. They've been preparing for us, Commander. Not just militarily, but culturally. Every human child grows up learning to question, to adapt, to overcome. They don't just survive, they thrive on challenges. Zarx was silent for a long moment, his organic and mechanical parts perfectly still. You believe direct confrontation would be unwise? Sir, Naira said carefully, I believe it would be suicidal. The Shadowblade Guild doesn't reject contracts out of fear. They rejected this one out of respect for an apex predator species that has turned survival into an art form. The commander's cybernetic eye focused on Earth's image, rotating slowly in the central display. Perhaps we should consider a different approach to Earth. Not as a conquest, but as a potential ally. Naira suggested. Or at least, Zarx amended, a species best not antagonized. He turned to leave, then paused. Continue your observations, Director Vess. And, increase the security on our research facilities. Something tells me we're not the only ones interested in Earth. As the commander left, Naira and Jax exchanged glances. On their displays, Earth continued its innocent rotation, a deceptively peaceful world housing a species that had turned the art of survival into a science, and the science of warfare into an art. Commodore Rax Ven of the Zenithan Empire's 7th Fleet stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Stellar Dominance, watching Earth grow larger on the main viewport. Against direct orders from High Command, he had brought a battle group to the edge of Earth's solar system. His career, his reputation, his very life hung on proving that humans were not the threat everyone claimed them to be. This is absurd, he muttered, his cybernetic implants glowing with irritation. We've conquered 12 star systems, and we're cowering from a species that hasn't even colonized their own moon. Sir, his second-in-command, Lieutenant Thela, approached with a data pad. Our stealth systems are functioning at maximum capacity. Earth's primitive detection systems show no sign of. An alarm blared across the bridge, cutting her off. What is that? Rax demanded. Impossible, Thela's scales paled. They've detected us. Multiple Earth vessels are on an intercept course. Rax smiled. Perfect. Let them come. Prepare the intimidation protocol. The massive holographic projectors powered up, designed to create an overwhelming display of Zenithan military might. The fleet arranged itself in an attack formation that had brought entire civilizations to their knees. Sir, the communications officer called out, we're receiving a transmission. It's being broadcast on all frequencies, in multiple formats. Put it through. A human face appeared on the main screen. Admiral James Sterling of the United Earth Defense Force looked remarkably calm for someone facing a technologically superior alien fleet. Zenithan vessels, Sterling's voice was steady, almost casual. You're in violation of restricted space. We've been aware of your observation posts for months. We let them remain because they were passive. This. He gestured to the battle formation, is not passive. Rax stepped forward. You dare threaten the might of the Zenithan Empire? Your primitive weapons are nothing compared to. Commodore, Sterling interrupted, checking a small device. Rax Ven, commanding the 7th Fleet. Yes, we know who you are. We know about the rejected assassination contract. We know about your illegal observation posts. And we know about the 3 stealth probes you lost trying to infiltrate our defense network. The bridge fell silent. Those were classified operations. Sterling continued, here's what you don't know. Those probes. We let you think they were destroyed by primitive countermeasures. In reality, we captured them intact. Reverse engineered them. Improved them. Rax's implants flickered with uncertainty. You're bluffing. Your stealth technology relies on quantum field manipulation, Sterling said, as casual as if discussing the weather. Effective, but it creates a distinctive gravitational microsignature. We detected your fleet the moment you entered the Oort cloud. Thilo whispered, Sir, we're detecting energy signatures. Thousands of them, emerging from concealed positions throughout the system. That's right, Sterling nodded. While you were studying us, we were preparing. Those observation posts you planted. We fed them exactly what we wanted you to see. But since you've chosen to escalate. The sensors exploded with alerts as hidden human installations activated across the solar system. Weapons platforms emerged from asteroid fields. Stealth vessels decloaked, using modified zenithan technology. Last warning, Sterling said. Withdraw your fleet, or we'll demonstrate exactly why the Shadowblade Guild chose to respect rather than challenge us. Rax's mandibles clicked in frustration. You think you can match our technological superiority? Sterling actually smiled. No, Commodore. We don't need to match it. See, that's what you don't understand about humans. We don't need the best technology. We just need to be creative with what we have. For instance. Suddenly, the Stellar Dominance's systems began failing. Screens flickered, weapons went offline. While we've been talking, Sterling explained, nanobots from those primitive Earth vessels have been infiltrating your ships through your own sensor arrays. Your stealth technology makes excellent conduit for invasive programs. Sir, Thila reported, panic in her voice, we've lost control of all major systems. They're using our own technology against us. Sterling leaned forward. The Shadowblade Guild was right to warn your empire. We've spent our entire history preparing for this moment. Every war movie, every science fiction story, every game our children play, they're all training scenarios. We've been thinking about how to defeat technologically superior aliens since before we had electricity. Rax watched helplessly as his mighty fleet was systematically disabled by a species that hadn't even achieved faster-than-light travel on their own. Here's what happens next, Sterling continued. You'll withdraw your fleet. You'll report to your superiors that Earth is not to be trifled with. And maybe, if your empire can approach us with respect rather than aggression, we might consider peaceful relations. As his ships hung powerless in space, Commodore Rax Ven finally understood why the galaxy's deadliest assassins had chosen to back down. It wasn't fear, it was recognition of a fundamental truth: humans hadn't just prepared for war, they had spent their entire existence preparing for this exact moment. The Galactic Diplomatic Center on Nexus Station gleamed like a silver lotus in space, its petals housing representatives from 1,000 worlds. In a secure meeting chamber, Senior Diplomatic Officer Arya Blackwood faced High Counselor Zara of the Zenithan Empire across a table of rare quantum crystal. Your rogue Commodore's actions have created quite the diplomatic incident, Arya said, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic star charts between them. She maintained a deliberately relaxed posture, though her mind raced with calculations. Zara's bioluminescent patterns shifted in what humans had learned to recognize as embarrassment. Commodore Ven acted without authorization. He has been dealt with. That's not why I'm here, Arya leaned forward. We both know there's a deeper game being played. The assassination contract, the observation posts, now this failed show of force, someone's pushing for conflict. The question is, who profits from a war between Earth and the Zenithan Empire? Before Zara could respond, the chamber's security systems suddenly activated. Quantum-locked doors sealed shut as warning lights pulsed. Security breach in Level 7, an automated voice announced. Unknown biological agents detected. Arya's hand moved to the concealed pulse weapon in her jacket, but Zara raised all four hands in a peaceful gesture. Wait. I arranged this lockdown. What I'm about to share cannot leave this room. Holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing classified intelligence reports. There's a faction within our empire, Zara explained, calling themselves the evolutionary purists. They believe that humanity's potential threatens the natural order of the galaxy. And the assassination contract? A ploy. They knew the Shadowblade Guild would reject it. They wanted to study your species' response to various threats. Every move has been calculated, including Ven's attack. Arya processed this information, her training highlighting the implications. They're probing our defenses, learning our capabilities. Classic tactical assessment. Precisely. Zara's patterns shifted to deep crimson. But they've discovered something that terrifies them. Humans don't just adapt, you evolve at an accelerated rate. Your responses become stronger, more innovative with each challenge. Security footage appeared, showing humans incorporating captured Zenithan technology into their own systems, improving it in ways that should have been impossible for their technological level. Look at what you did with just 3 captured stealth probes, Zara gestured. You didn't just reverse engineer our technology, you reimagined it. The purists see this as proof that humanity will eventually overshadow all other species. Arya smiled grimly. So they want to eliminate us while they still can. Classic fear response. But why are you telling me this? Because Zara's patterns shifted to a complex pattern Arya had never seen before. I believe humanity might be exactly what our empire needs. We've grown stagnant, relying on technological superiority rather than innovation. Your species reminds us of what we once were: adaptable, resilient, creative. The displays showed new data, economic projections, technological advancement curves, cultural impact assessments. A partnership between our peoples could revolutionize the galaxy. But first, we need to stop the purists before they force open conflict. Arya studied the information, her mind already formulating strategies. They'll have contingency plans. People willing to die for their cause. We'd need to. She stopped as new alerts flashed across the displays. Multiple Zenithan military vessels had gone dark, their commanders presumably loyal to the purists. They're making their move, Zara's patterns pulsed with alarm. My sources indicate they're planning simultaneous strikes against Earth and our own government. They believe eliminating both leadership structures will throw both our peoples into chaos, Arya finished. She stood, decision made. We have about 6 hours before they can coordinate their attacks. That's all the time we need. For what? Arya's smile was predatory. To show them why starting a war with humans is a bad idea. You said we're good at adapting. Watch how fast we can adapt to being allies instead of enemies. She activated her secure communicator. Sterling. Implementation of Protocol Omega. Yes, full diplomatic sanction. And contact the Shadowblade Guild, tell them we have a counter-contract for them. It's time to show the galaxy what happens when humanity decides to make friends instead of war. As emergency signals blazed across multiple star systems, Arya turned back to Zara. You wanted to see human adaptability in action? Well, we're about to give the galaxy a masterclass in creative problem-solving. The quantum crystal table between them lit up with battle plans and diplomatic protocols as 2 former adversaries began planning the salvation of both their civilizations. In the space of a single conversation, humanity had gained its first true alien ally, proving that they were just as capable of revolutionary diplomacy as they were at warfare. The Shadowblade Guild's observation deck offered a panoramic view of the unfolding battle. Guildmaster Ryvan Thax stood alongside Admiral Sterling and Diplomatic Officer Arya Blackwood, watching as the combined forces of Earth and the loyal Zenithan Empire engaged the Purist faction's fleet. Fascinating, Ryvan murmured, his silver eyes tracking the movement of Earth's ships. Your vessels are deliberately taking hits to their shields. Because every hit teaches us something, Sterling explained. Our adaptive shield technology learns from each impact, adjusting frequencies, strengthening weak points. The longer the battle goes, the stronger we become. The space around them blazed with weapons fire as the purest superior technology clashed with human ingenuity backed by Zenithan support. Earth vessels, though technically inferior, moved with unprecedented coordination, using tactics that defied conventional space warfare doctrine. "They're not fighting like a military force," Riven observed. "They're fighting like predators," Arya finished. "Every human child grows up playing games about outsmarting stronger opponents. Now we're doing it for real." On the main display, human ships executed maneuvers that should have been impossible, using the enemy's own energy weapons to charge their shields, turning each attack into an advantage. The purists' carefully planned assault was dissolving into chaos. "Incoming transmission from the purist command ship," a communications officer announced. The holographic projection showed High Commander Vex, leader of the evolutionary purists, his cybernetic implants crackling with fury. "This is impossible. Your technology is inferior. Your species is primitive." "That's your fundamental mistake," Sterling replied calmly. "You think technology equals advancement. We know better. True evolution isn't about having the best weapons, it's about using what you have in ways your enemy can't imagine." As if to emphasize his point, a squadron of Earth fighters executed a maneuver that scattered the purist formation. The human vessels had synchronized their shield frequencies to create a cascading energy wave that turned the enemy's own weapons against them. "You were so busy studying our weaknesses," Arya added, "that you missed our greatest strength. Humans don't just adapt, we thrive on challenges. Every time you push us, we don't just push back, we revolutionize the game." Riven stepped forward, his guild markings glowing. "This is why we rejected your contract, Commander Vex. We recognized what you refused to see. Humanity isn't a threat to galactic evolution, they are evolution personified." The battle reached its crescendo as Earth's forces, now perfectly synchronized with their Zenithan allies, closed the trap. The purist fleet found itself caught in a web of gravitational distortions, their own stealth technology turned into a prison. "Your choice is simple," Sterling declared. "Surrender, or witness firsthand why even the galaxy's deadliest assassins chose to respect humanity rather than challenge us." The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of failing engines and powering down weapons as, one by one, the purist ships surrendered. Hours later, as cleanup operations began, Riven stood with Arya and Sterling in the guild's strategic chamber. "You could have destroyed them completely," he noted. "Why show mercy?" "Because that's another thing your guild recognized about us," Arya smiled. "Humans are predators, yes, but we're also capable of tremendous compassion. We can be your worst enemy or your strongest ally, the choice is yours." Sterling nodded. The galaxy just learned why the Shadowblade Guild warned them about humanity. But they also learned something else, that we're just as good at making peace as we are at winning wars. And that, Riven concluded, watching as human and Zenithan ships work together to secure the sector, is perhaps the most terrifying thing about your species. You don't just master the art of survival, you redefine it entirely. As news of the battle spread across the galaxy, species after species began reaching out to Earth, not with threats or challenges, but with offers of alliance and trade. They had witnessed what happened when someone pushed humanity too far, and what happened when someone earned humanity's friendship. The Shadowblade Guild updated its records that day, adding a new notation to their assessment of Earth: approach with respect, engage with honesty, and never forget, humans don't just adapt to the galaxy, they make the galaxy adapt to them. In the end, it wasn't humanity's capacity for warfare that changed the galaxy, it was their ability to turn enemies into allies, to forge strength from adversity, and to prove that true evolution meant growing beyond the need for conflict. The species that had mastered survival had now mastered something even more powerful, the art of thriving through cooperation.